Welcome everyone to our energy of the week. Today I have with me Suzanne and Susan, and we want to talk about the energy of the week because we figure out that this week has been kind of the best way I can explain it for me, complicated and wild. It's just that's what I feel that the energy is going to go to. It's like complicated and wild. And also, I feel there is some shifting, but a little bit of a separation of the energies. So I'm going to have Susan see what she thinks about that.
Well, I thought I was going to escape the solar eclipse because I was doing fine in the morning and it happened early in the morning. And then, boy, did I get slammed and slammed in a physical way. So I had a pressure headache that just this band around me. So I'm feeling really, really good that now that's gone. But I think you're right, Zeppi. I think it's the vibration changed. Some of the things I had written down for this was a new vibration, a new beginning. Actually, new karma begins from that eclipse on out. So is it any wonder that, we're not sure exactly how to navigate or how to ride this new vibration? And we talked so much about being in 5D that I really feel that was the dividing line. And now we're just in 5D trying to figure out how to navigate that energy. So, yeah.
And it's interesting, that's the separation that I'm feeling.
Right.
Also, the negative and the positive separation for this eclipse. It's kind of like it feels like we need to choose positive. We need to choose the light, which is interesting because a lot of people are asking me, okay, if we have how you say negative and positive inside of us, what is there to choose? Well, yes, we all have positive and negative inside of us, but the choice is to do everything positive, even if we have the negative arise. Make sense? Instead of listening to the negative.
I
That's
like I like a nice blending because we're always going to have both within us. And so if we can blend them, and obviously always geared toward a more positive frame of mind, but I think we just have to blend them together.
that's
Yeah.
true. Blending and then thinking positive and doing it. Not choose one or the other, but
Right.
choose both in a sense and balance within ourselves. Suzanne, what do you think?
Well, I think there was a big vibrational blast that went out like this. So it's important that you tune into the correct vibration because you can get sidetracked so that you're not having that double helix of understanding and expansion and all those things that we work towards when we work energetically. I have to say, like Susan, before the eclipse, it was like compression. I felt like the pressure was getting harder and harder and harder and harder on me. And then it just opened up the next day. And it's funny because Susan and I didn't talk about this before, but then afterwards, the next day, she's like, holy shit, did I? I was like, oh, and I was like, I was too, but today I feel fabulous. It's like it just, everything went out like this.
I woke up too because, and I did have the pressure, which I normally never get headaches. And it was like, but it was very, very quick. It's like I woke up, got the headache. By the time I got to get to my morning practice, I was already done my meditation. And then when I got out of bed, that was done. The headache was gone. So I have a feeling is that they give us this energy gave us some, not just in the body, but I think it really worked on the third eye and the crown chakra. That's what I felt because it seems like all three of us, got exactly the same thing. So yeah, the band is the third eye, and of course all the energy comes from the crown. So it felt to me that that's where the blast came in for us to just kind of get it into our body and also move these little tiny things that we probably still have as I don't know if that makes sense. You're laughing, Suzanne, but there's little tiny, guesses and maybe this and maybe that, and those little tiny things leaving us and really going into that comfortable space that, okay, we grounded the energy. you know? So that was interesting for me. Suzanne, because you're laughing, what do you have to say about that?
Well, you said you woke up and did your practice. Well, I did as well. I woke up, I start with my mantra, and then I went to go into my sutras. I couldn't remember them. I say them every morning for years. I was like, usually it's like it just goes, you know, there's no thinking about it. And I just, okay, so I jumped right in the middle and I pulled something out, and that was it. That's the only sutra I worked on that day. And that's just, this has been just a practice. It's gone. I mean, gone. And Susan's like, whoa. I said, my sutras were gone this morning in my meditation. She's like,
Well,
maybe you don't need them.
maybe some new sutras need to come in. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
exactly it.
Maybe you're already done with them. And Susan is shaking her head. Maybe, you know, sometimes when it's kind of like when our pray beats break, that's
Yes.
like the energy is done with it. And, you know, they have taken all the energy and they worked on us, whatever they need to work on us, and then they go away. So a lot of that things is happening because it is about clearing the old karma. It's clearing the old energy, is really saying, you know what, we're done with this. We don't want to go there anymore. So maybe that's what it is. You know, maybe you would finish your karmic sutra work at that, for that one. Maybe, you know, now it's time to get to the next one. Susan, what do you have to say?
Well, and I want to talk about the solar flares as well. There's been a lot of information talking about the solar flares, and maybe they're massive, and are we moving into a new stage of solar flares? So that's something to be aware of as well. I'm getting information that there's actually a new geometry coming through, which it is. It's a brave new world. It's a brave new world.
Would you call it like a new Markaba, or within this Markaba that geometry will change? Or
I don't know math at all. I don't even know this geometry, let alone a new geometry. But I think that's the vastness of the change that we're experiencing. That it's so big that even the way we calculate is changing. I don't know. I don't, like I say, that's just information I get. Doesn't mean I know what I'm talking about.
Well, of course you know what you're talking about, because you get the information, you know.
Yeah, I get the information just to relay, but I don't, you know, it doesn't necessarily work with me terribly long, because I always am getting new stuff all the time. Yeah.
We kind of know the world runs under the energy. I shouldn't say the world. The energy runs under specific, say the 108, because I'm not good in math either. The Pythagoras energies with the math and everything like that. So you think we're going back into that because they have, through the world, like even with the music, they have changed the hertz. You know, like we don't listen the correct hertz anymore, correct? The 433, I think it is, or 435, we hear something else. Do you think maybe, girls, we're going back into that? Like we're shifting back into the original purity of things?
You know, Suzanne can speak to the whole time thing, is like, are we in the past? Are we in the future? You know, but at some point, Pythagoras had to have gotten that information.
Yes.
And so does that information last forever and ever and ever? Or does the earth change and new mathematical equations show up? I don't know.
Dan, what do you think? That's an interesting subject. I got intrigued now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have to say that it just came to me this morning, and I wasn't going to talk about it, but here we are.
Here we are.
So when I think about time and dimensions, I used to see it as like plastic you walk through, but today it was rice paper. It was so thin. And I remember saying that to myself, going, wow, that's like rice paper, where you just touch it and it just crumbles. So as far as the new geometry, I'm not a mathematician, but I don't think that the positions change, but the power does, the power of whatever that is. So I think it just maybe moves quicker And when something moves quicker, it looks different as it starts to spin. And sometimes it creates new angles as it starts to spin faster.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Well,
not,
we all know that 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D look different. So perhaps that it is, you know, as you move higher, the, you know, the cubes change, the lines and the angles do change. So
Yeah, but also maybe we're getting closer to what Pythagoras, for example, brought in.
Mm.
Can that be a possibility that we're rising to that level, to closer to that energy that we call spirit, or whatever the information that we receive, the energy that we receive? So maybe that's also part of 5D, that we're getting into this higher vibration and coming closer to those energies.
yeah.
That's what kind of is coming to me.
Mhm.
Personally, for a while, I had been working with Archimedes, all these, you know, these Greek people, and the arc. So I have been very much involved in the arc and the rainbow arc and, you know, the bridge. So I don't necessarily know how to relate any of that information so people can understand, other than that is what I have been working with, is Archimedes and the arc, which is what the arc is named after, is Archimedes.
Archimedes, yeah. Well, Archimedes means chemical, you know?
I didn't know.
Chemical. Arc, chemical.
The chemical of the arc, maybe.
The chemical of the arc, yeah.
Okay, that's expansive.
So this is what I'm saying. Maybe there's some kind of, you know, higher, maybe the arc that you're calling is reaching that fifth dimension in instead of like being in the, let's say maybe the Pythagoras was on the third dimension and it was bringing the information down. It had to go through all these dimensions to get down to him. Maybe now we rising up to those dimensions. You know what I'm saying? It's so new. I'm trying to like put words into it. I'm getting chills everywhere. This is very intriguing. I really like this. We're gonna find more about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's heady stuff, but
it could also be a course correction.
Course correction.
You know, when you change something here, you can change it in the past, you can change it in the future. So if we have these new geometric possibilities, maybe that changes the easy for me to say, trajectory of where we're going, which in turn will change the past and change the future.
That makes sense, because you know we can always change the past and the future as we're clearing our life, our emotional patterns. So that definitely can happen on the 3D. But can you imagine us going to the 50? How easy that will be to change the past and the future.
Yes.
Wow, this is some interesting things, girls. I really okay. I said in the beginning it's going to be complicated and wild. I had no idea.
As we never do.
The idea, the word complicated, when I said it, when it came to me, it was just kind of like a feeling of it's not that we don't know where we're going, but it's complicated. It's not the way it used to be anymore. It's not like left, right, or straight. It's left, right, straight simultaneously, correct? So to me, that's complicated because the brain cannot catch it if you're going to do left, right, straight at the same time. The brain cannot catch it. So I don't know. This is wild. We're going to some wild energies, and I think you're absolutely right, Susan, about this the eclipse. This eclipse was very powerful in a very interesting way. The only thing I remember in the meditation of the eclipse, because I like to stay in the dark room. I like to go on a how you say, not on a diet, but on a cleanse, and just do my mantras and do that work. I only think I remember after I was done with my mantras and whatever else I do, that I choose light. That word came very strongly to me. I choose light. I choose light. And it's interesting because the world's been, and we hear it every day, so many negative things over and over and over again. So maybe that's another thing through this, eclipse. When the moon goes over the sun, it darkness the light. So to me, that came out as a mantra also. It was like, I choose light, I choose light, I choose light. So I don't know, this is like a new territory for all of us, huh? Very new territory. We're dreading some new territories here.
Well, they talk about it was a ring of fire, this particular eclipse. And doesn't it feel like, because I talk about that often when I do readings, is people need to go through a ring of fire. And so that's that purging, that's that cleansing when you go through that ring of fire. And when you come out on the other side, you are different. You are different. You have gone through a passage.
Yeah, but this is an interesting passage, though. It's passage of who's going to be kind of left behind and who's going to choose to go through that veil that is like a thin paper, like Suzanne talked about.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And this is the ring of fire right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where we all three felt, and we never talked about it before, we all three felt that on the day of the eclipse. That's also very interesting for us to look at that. So anyway, well, thank you, girls. But first, I want to tell to our audience that our school, the Ancient Healing Academy, is going to start in September, our new semester. Please check it out. See if you're interested in. We'd love to have you. It's a program that we all four of us, the other girl is missing, her name is Kathy, but all four of us worked very hard on to give you exactly what you need to get through all this new energies and the new passage that is coming. So in the next life, we're going to take questions also on the next life that we're going to do. And we're going to do it probably once a month with all the girls. So thank you, everyone. Enjoy. Namaste. Thank you, girls, for doing